Well, good morning. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. It's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. It's late June, and you know, it's harvest time for my bright light Swiss chard plants. So thanks for joining me today. So I have my wife's Longaberger basket, which is really great to use out in the garden for picking all your vegetables and then carrying them in the house. And so those bright light Swiss chard plants are right behind me in one of my raised beds. So follow me along and let's go harvest some of those beautiful leaves. Okay, so they're up here on the right. Bailey must have been rolling in some dirt somewhere, so he's going to get a bath tonight. He doesn't normally roll in dirt, but I don't know what he's been up to. So anyhow, these beautiful bright light Swiss chard plants are right here on my right. And I really love this bright light Swiss chard because they're different colors. They're very ornamental green. And you could even plant these out in your flower garden if you needed more space out in your garden. Because they are beautiful plants, and you have the red stalks, and there's also some yellow stalks back there. And so these Swiss chard plants, I direct sowed them in April, and so they've been growing a good couple months, and the leaves are really nice and large. And you know, the Swiss chard is one of my favorite greens, leafy greens. It's also in the spinach family. And what's also nice about it is that the aphids and the cabbage worm, they don't seem to bother this Swiss chard. And so it's another reason why it's one of my favorite leafy greens out in the garden. It also, when you cook it or steam it, it's nice and tender when you cook it. And and also another nice thing about these greens, let me see if I can find a plant here, is that, you know, these are pick and come again. And so the idea is, as long as you pick the outer stalk, it'll continue to grow. Because if you look inside there, you can see there's a center leaf there growing, and that's the one you don't want to harvest or pick, because then the plant will stop producing. And so that's the beauty of these Swiss chard plants, is that you just pick and come again. I just take the outer leaves, you know, maybe a couple leaves from each plant. I try to take the larger leaves off of these plants. And so let's just take a look here. Here's a big leaf right here that I'm going to put inside the basket. And let me just see, there's a few more. I do get a few of the leaves with some holes in them, but you know, that's not a problem. The good thing is the aphids and the looper worm doesn't seem to bother it. And so you can see how pretty they really are too. And you can also eat the stalk. That's very edible. And so let's just get a couple more of these leaves here that are overhanging the raised bed. Here's another one here. I grow these in my composted leaf mulch amended with topsoil. I get a weed here or there, but it's certified weed free, and so I really don't get too many weeds in these. I buy 10 yards of this from Barnside Compost nearby, and I pay $30 a yard, plus around $20, $25, something like that for delivery. And so that 10 yards is going to last me through this season and a little bit into the next. But anyhow, harvesting these greens is one of my favorite things to do out in the garden. And what I did is I planted one row of these or direct sowed these by seed in April. And then I took those small seedlings, I planted the seedlings about 2 inches apart. And then once they grew a couple inches, I dug out those little transplants and planted them right in a front row right along here. So, and then I also was able to get enough seedlings and transplants that I took those tiny little seedlings and planted them in other places in my garden. And so harvesting these greens is one of my favorite things, and again, they're so healthy for us. And so I'm going to grab a few more of these and put them in my basket for tonight. So anyhow, let me encourage you to think about growing your own Swiss chard out in your vegetable garden. Again, something really easy to do. You know, they cost under $2 for a pack of seeds, and you can have your greens all season long. You know, you could also freeze these in your freezer. You know, kale is especially good for freezing in your freezer. So anyhow, if you have any questions or comments about this video, feel free to leave them in the section below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so you could receive future videos. And you can also visit our website at www.plantsmartliving.com. So anyhow, I hope you have a wonderful day. So until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.